So Heroes in Crisis, being a massive event comic, even though it really probably should not have been an event comic, instead it should have just been a very deep character study of characters who go to the sanctuary. This was clearly going to get tie-in issues, so let's start off with the first one. In the fallout of Roy Harper's death, ignoring Wally West's death because Dan DeVito hates him, though I get the feeling they're going to address that in the Flash tie-in because it's clearly obvious they're going to do that. We have this big funerals chapter for Green Arrow issue number 45 to serve as a tie-in to Heroes in Crisis Fallout number 1. And basically this whole issue takes place basically surrounding the funeral of Roy Harper and how a lot of people are there and here to console and whatnot. It's pretty somber, very depressing, realizing that, Roy Harper's dead. And from what I kept hearing, apparently Tom King says that they are not coming back. All these characters are not coming back. Well, here's why I should be mad, but I'm kind of not. Why do I have the feeling that this is only happening because they need to build up to that disparity going on in Doomsday Clock, which I do say Dr. Manhattan was responsible of regarding what happened at Sanctuary. Like, he was out to kill Wally West, but clearly everyone else was just caught in the crossfire, so everyone was just collateral damage. And even though he says he cares for humanity in Doomsday Clock issue 7, he's clearly more indifferent at best at this point, and he does seem a little angry or something. But yeah. So, anyways, Roy is being given this eulogy by a family, by Bird, Roy's brother from an Indian reservation that Roy was adopted into. So yeah, I've been reading this also from a comicbookrevolution.com site to get a firm grasp on a lot of characters so I can get an understanding about which characters which. Like, the only characters I know about when it comes to Roy Harper, aka Red Arrow, aka Arsenal, aka Speedy, is really Cheshire, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Donna Troy, and that's basically it. I am not an expert on everything about him. Then we all know about his struggle with addictions. So yeah, so we get the perspective of Green Arrow saying that he was hoping that this was a dream or just a horrible nightmare, and clearly, and how he says that he saw Roy Harper a few days ago and how he was still a fighting spirit and his aim was true, and yet he said he was going to see him soon, but that never was going to happen now. And everyone's all despairing over this. Like, you got Wonder Woman, you got Donna Troy, you got all these characters coming in and giving their thoughts on him. And yeah, and Black Canary with Green Arrow. So yeah, this is a pretty somber chapter, like I said. We go into more backstory between Green Arrow and Roy Harper, Oliver Queen, and Roy Harper. Basically, a lot of people keep thinking, I was watching a video when I was looking up analysts of this. Yeah, for some reason they decided to retcon certain things, like the cover chapter, the more famous cover of when Green Arrow and Green Lantern discover Roy Harper is doing drugs. Yeah, that was never happening in the New 52 as far as we knew, and this was just a retcon. So, yeah. Don't worry, at least this makes more sense to tell this somber story as opposed to Jeff Johns retconning the Blue Beetle scare of saying it's magic and not alien tech instead of it could have just been both like they did with Young Justice. But Jeff Johns clearly knows what he's doing when it comes to retconning history. At least he does it more out of that for storytelling purposes than, Vince McMahon like to retcon stuff because he can. But besides the point, yeah, Green Arrow goes ahead and has all this guilt going on in him, like how Arsenal was telling him all this stuff and Green Arrow wasn't really listening. He was too distracted with something regarding a mission he was doing. But yeah, eventually Superman, he confronts Superman and basically whacks him in the head with a fist, except we all know that this is Superman, so that's really not going to do anything. he blames Superman, he blames Wonder Woman, he blames a lot of people of the Justice League, saying that it was all their fault. And yeah, and how he says that it was their fault because of what Sanctuary did, and how this wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be a place to keep people safe and help them. Instead, it's turned into a place of despair and anguish. And he then asks, where is Batman in all this? Where's Bruce? Bruce and Superman answers this: Bruce wanted to come, but he's not. But he's out there looking for Roy's killer. That's why he's not here. I believe that's what Wonder Woman said. Also, he kept mentioning how he believes One-Face and Rock and Roll have formed a deadly alliance in order to kill people at Sanctuary. Yeah, I couldn't help myself. But yeah, here's the thing that really probably would have pissed him off more so, Green Arrow, if they had said, oh, by the way, yeah, we kind of had Harley Quinn there. She was getting help as well. Granted, she was formerly with the Joker. She's an anti-hero. She likes to do crazy things. She's also an insane psychopath who has a very tendency to pro-violence. So, yeah, I get the feeling Green Arrow probably would not have been happy if he heard that Harley Quinn, of all people, was at a superhero sanctuary, despite her current allegiances no longer being with the Joker. But yeah, he's all blaming everybody and blames the Justice League for what happened. And then he starts to reveal about what he could do to them with this box, apparently. Then the Martian Manhunter comes in and tells him to stop and not reveal that key information. And I was like, wait, when did he have something that could take down the Justice League? Like I said, I'm not well versed in comics, so I had to, thanks to the power of the internet, I had to look this up, and I believe it was a small mini-series in the Justice League comics called Justice League No Justice. I think that was it. I could be wrong, but it was a mini-series involving Brainiac and all this stuff. I looked up on Comics Explained on that, but apparently that's what was in that role in that, where Oliver Queen was given this box that could have the power to take down the Justice League, except we don't know what it was. But yeah, Roy Harper's death is really getting to Oliver Queen, how he's all despairing and how he feels like it was his fault, and how he also blames himself for not listening to him, not being the father figure he wanted to be for him. And then Donna Troy gives this eulogy saying she loved Roy. Yeah, she loved Roy, but probably not in the romantic scene. Yeah. But, yeah, she's giving this eulogy, and we're getting more flashbacks about how Green Arrow probably didn't even really know Roy Harper than he thought, and eventually it reached a cataclysm point when he discovers about the drug addiction he's going through. But before that, Green Arrow realizes there are more people than he realized, realizing that he didn't know Roy Harper at all. So, yeah, that's got to be more depressing. So we get this another character named Annie, part of Roy Harper's gallery of characters, where basically she was an addict, but she says that she thanked Roy for convincing her to get help, and he understood, and how he was pretty much the reason why she was getting cleaned up. So that was nice and touching, but like I said, all this is happening is disparaging and whatnot. And then Oliver Queen says, Guess it is. He's not coming back, Dinah. And then she just says, I know. And Green Arrow says, Roy's gone, there's nothing I can do about it. And I was like, well, you're continuously hammering in that he's dead, even though really this is DC Comics, and the most longest term a person was dead was what? The Anti-Monitor, and even he came back for Sinestro Corps War. And before that was Barry Allen. So yeah, at the same time, you have to realize, yeah, these deaths aren't really permanent, like only maybe a couple of times, but really, even then, they still come back. Like originally, they wanted to kill Nightwing in Infinite Crisis because They just didn't know what Nightwing was. Like, one editor apparently had said to somebody that he's not Robin, he's not Batman, so I don't know what he is. So basically saying that if you're not Robin or Batman, you are useless. Dumbasses. Aren't they? So, yeah. And like I said, we get that flashback sequence about how Green Arrow and Green Lantern discover Roy's addiction problem and how he's thrown out by Green Arrow and realizing that he was more disappointed in himself than he was disappointed in Roy and wishing he could have been the father figure. And even says that he even goes in and calls Roy his son, saying he loved him like a son. And yeah. Then the chapter ends with him being the last one to leave the funeral, and basically how he's vowing to not suffer this kind of thing ever again, I believe. So like this is what it ends on. I spent my life finding the fault in Roy and never turned around to seek the cause of my failure in myself. I'm not going to disappoint him again. Guess I got work to do. Guess I've got work to do. Next chapter will be Citizen Queen. Yeah, I don't read the Green Arrow comics. I only know about Green Arrow from the Justice League cartoons. I don't read the Green Arrow comics, but from what I heard, Black Canary was kind of not portrayed well, and apparently the writer says that the only way a couple can be interesting is if they're fighting, which is stupid in so many ways. I'm all for the love-hate relationship, because it's like everyone knows, like, oh, come on, we both know you like each other, stop trying to act like you're tough people. But yeah, that's not, but what they were describing in the Green Arrow comics earlier on wasn't a love-hate relationship or a shooter from anime. That was straight up physical abuse, domestic abuse. So yeah, I don't know what was going through their heads at the time. No idea if this is still going on now. Like I said, I don't read the Green Arrow comics, but that might change one day. But anyways, yeah, this was a very somber issue. Like I said, it was filled with so much emotion, but is also filling with retcons from the old DC universe because even though they never happened in the New 52, but now they're saying it did happen in the New 52 universe. So yeah. The only reason why I say that, why I'm not mad about how the deaths aren't really permanent, is why the deaths are Tao King has said apparently that people who died in Heroes in Crisis is a permanent effect. Except that is merely a suggestion, it's not really a guarantee. Also, I keep getting the feeling that like I said, I do believe Dr. Manhattan has something to do with this, and it had to involve Wally West. Everyone else was just there for damage control. Everyone else was just like, well, all these people here, they're going to get in my way, so they have to die too. But here's the thing. I get the feeling, and I keep believing it, Doomsday Clock is going to end with all those years restored. Alan Scott's going to be revived. They're going to refix history, and the only one who could do is Dr. Manhattan, or they could, or Ozymandias is probably going to go back in time and stop Dr. Manhattan from ever being created, which would explain what happens at the end when the whole, how Dr. Manhattan can't see what happens next in his future. So, yeah, like I said, this really stems to that, is this going to be a gigantic reboot to bring back the old DC universe officially, instead of just continuously adding elements of the old DC universe into the New 52? That's the only way I see this happening, why they said that all these characters are not coming back, or they're dead and they're not going to come back in Heroes in Crisis. That's the only way I see how that's going to happen. But we'll see how that goes. So those were my thoughts on Heroes in Crisis tie-in, Green Arrow issue number 45. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. If you like, comment, subscribe, and donate.